Ben, Jason Kidd decided to retire. We talked about it on TYT Sports. He's 40 years old, spent 19 years in the NBA, went to college at Cal, and he once actually dunked in an NBA game. So, no, he is second in assists and steals. He's a two-time Olympic gold medalist with Team USA, obviously.
Big deal.
And now, apparently, Greg Popovich is even in favor of him coaching. I'll read you the quote and then we'll get your take. Well, I think, of course, it's an individual thing, but when you played in the league as long as Jason has and played for a number of coaches, he's pretty much seen everything that the NBA can offer. So he does have experience. If he's crazy enough to want to be a head coach in the league, I wish him all the best, but he certainly has the intuitive skills to know what's going on out there. Obviously, he would be able to have relationships with the players that he's had with his coaches throughout. Now, one quick note. PJ Carlesimo was 49 and 33, and he's gone. In your best baseball, he's out.
Mm-hmm. I think, the Nets went 49 and 33, and they were under 500 when PJ took over, so he did better than
He
that.
did incredibly well. Yeah. They were, I don't even believe they were in the playoffs.
I think they were 2 or 3 games
Johnson,
under 500. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. They may have been the 8 seed, the 9 seed. He worked them to a 4 seed. But yeah, PJ Carlesimo, firstly, I don't think should have been fired. So Jason Kidd, having no prior experience as an assistant, what have you, if you were to be in the front office of the Nets, would you hire him?
PJ was 35 and 19, 648 with the Nets this year.
Really good. Didn't deserve to be fired.
Well, I mean, he's the interim coach. He was just the guy there. They get to make their choice. I mean,
they made a right one in PJ.
It would have been a reasonable choice, but that said, PJ will get a job somewhere else.
I hope so.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Jason Kidd would make a good coach. I think you probably ought to sit on the bench as an assistant for a while, because again, it's clearly very different. I don't think former players necessarily, certainly star players, have not traditionally in other sports made very good coaches. There's a very difficult. Clearly, there's some difficulty in not seeing players do what you were able to do effectively. That said, like catchers in baseball, a point guard is clearly, I think close to half of major league managers were catchers.
Joe Torre.
Well, Joe Torre was a third baseman, but he was a catcher too. He caught too. Bob Melvin of the A's, Eric Wedge. These guys were all, I think Eric Wedge caught in the minors.
I'm pretty sure he did.
But these guys, catchers traditionally are terrific. Generally make good managers. They see the whole game. You have to be smart.
So you think a point guard in the NBA is
makes the most
to that?
sense. I mean, you're in charge. You're running the game.
Do you think that he should go into assistant coaching first and then become a head coach?
I'd be surprised if anybody hired him to be a head coach.
NBA level?
I mean, first of all, he's an NBA coach. He's 19 years in the NBA. If he wants to coach in the NBA, he shouldn't have to go in college. But I mean, it would totally make sense if he spent, 2 years working for Doc Rivers. That would help him, I would imagine. But if a team wants to if he can do it, a team wants to give it to him right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So be it. It's maybe a young team,
I see him pulling, granted, their playing careers are nowhere in comparison. However, I see it becoming a Vinny Del Negro situation in Chicago. It's like, he doesn't have any coaching experience. He wasn't an assistant. I mean, look, the leg up that Vinny had outside of playing was that he was an executive with one team. I believe it was the Spurs. He was an executive, and then he went into coaching. So he already has a leg up on Jason Kidd. If Jason Kidd, if a team that he coaches bounces out of the first round, that's going to be the thing that everyone attacks, is that he doesn't have any prior coaching experience. He wasn't even an executive. He came right out of the league and started coaching players that he was teammates with. I see that being the problem if he bounces out of the first round or he doesn't have 2 successful years.
I don't know what people will criticize him for. It depends on how the team. It depends.
I'm just telling you from the track record of Vinny.
But it depends on whether you see it. Vinny Del Negro managed to convey, in looking and watching games and people who covered them, a guy who didn't seem in charge, and a guy who didn't seem to understand defense. So, you looked at Vinny Del Negro, and you were like, first of all, look at him. Just look at him.
Come on.
No, but seriously, he doesn't command it. I don't know. So if Jason Kidd seems to be in charge.
Because he looks reserved? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's standing around with his mouth open all the time. He's got a part in the middle of his head. He looks like a clown. There's no way Vinny Del Negro was going to be a good coach.
You're criticizing his hairstyle?
This hair is my moneymaker, my friend.
Is it really?
Yeah, totally. What are you talking about? My hair's fantastic. I don't part it in the middle.
Can you for a second?
Yeah, you can't. It's just,
just try. Just try.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's too rich and full and lush. Jason Kidd losing in the first round. Most people lose in the first round. Only 8 people don't lose in the first round. or not, or don't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So, I don't know. But generally, you would think it would help him to have some experience first. But obviously, this guy was every coach for the last 10 years, at least. I don't know about the first part of his career, but certainly for the last 10, 12, maybe 14 years, every coach he's had would say probably Jason was a coach on the floor. So I hope he does it. I hope more and more players get into it. For a guy like Kidd and all the money they've made, to some extent, you got to wonder how much, because you got to put in the time. And it's difficult to deal with players, and you can't have the same relationship you have with them.
Totally.
And you've got to set rules for rich people, which is hard to do in the NBA. This is a guy who doesn't need to work a day in his life. So you're choosing for this incredible grind of a season that lasts, 10 months, it seems like, and crazy travel and 82 games and time away from your family. Is this what you want? So I don't know. It'd be very tempting to just take a couple of years off, I would think.
Oh, okay.
When you're that rich.
Yeah,
that's
that's certainly one route. If you guys think it would be successful, leave a thought in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys.